Chapter 2, August 2nd. Ray Pulaski. At precisely 7:30 a.m., Ray Pulaski's sports watch alarm beeped 4 times before he hit the silver off button with his right thumb. He lay in bed for about 5 minutes, waking slowly to the warmth of the early morning sun. As he sat up against the mahogany headboard and stretched his arms toward the ceiling, he looked over at the large polished walnut plaque with his name in gold, Colonel Raymond S. Pulaski, USMC. 2 years ago, he had retired from the Corps and became the owner of Boardwalk Bicycles in Rehoboth Beach. As he considered those two thoughts together, as he often had since retirement, he simultaneously experienced both joy and pain. Joy, because he'd always loved fitness, running, cycling, skiing, being in touch with nature and his body through fitness. And pain, because he missed the challenge of the Marine Corps. Ray Pulaski had been a renegade of sorts in the Marines. A fiercely independent intellectual, Ray had gotten into more than his share of scrapes with the Marine Corps brass, many of whom were less competent but more powerful than Ray. The result of such an unbalanced equation had proved challenging and exciting to him. Unfortunately, it was his ultimate undoing. Beyond his usual clashes with superiors, he also had another charming flaw. As his wife Joyce described it, Ray was always a little late. He liked to think of it as fashionably so. It allowed him to collect more information from which to make decisions. But whether it was an after-actions report on the battalion training mission or getting ready for a vacation trip, Ray was always a little late. The saving grace throughout his career was that he was usually worth the wait. Ray was smart, and if he delayed, he always had good sound reasons. Unfortunately, this characteristic had not endeared Ray over the years to some of his more punctual Marine Corps senior officers. Suddenly, his mind stopped wandering, and he looked back at his wristwatch. 7:42 a.m. Running late again, he thought, as he rolled his 6-foot, 180-pound frame out of bed and stumbled into the bathroom. He always enjoyed the fact that he could piss in the toilet and comb his hair at the same time, an accomplishment his wife rolled her eyes at. As he paused to finish combing his red but graying hair, he could still hear his officer candidate school platoon sergeant calling him Candidate Carrot Top. That was 1,000 years ago, he thought. He shuffled down the stairs and slipped on his biking shorts, gloves, and lightweight helmet. Every time he did, he felt like an alien because it looked like his head had been reformed by the giant teardrop shape of the wind-resistant helmet. He unlocked his mountain bike, checked the tires with a quick thumb pressure test, and blasted away from the house with such force that he pulled the front tire off the pavement. Soon he was in the zone, and he pedaled like a man on a mission from God or like one running from the devil. 15 minutes and 32 seconds later, he turned onto the boardwalk and into his shop's loading area, where people picked up and dropped off their bike rentals. The sun had broken well above the horizon and spilled its gold across the ocean, up the sand, and straight into his eyes. He turned away from the bright warm glow to unlock the shop door just as a husband, wife, and 2 young girls approached. "Open yet?" asked the sandy-haired, 30-ish, horn-rimmed fellow. "As we speak," said Ray triumphantly. His wristwatch read 8:03, just a little late. Not bad, he thought to himself. "Come on in and pick out a great bike. You're the first, so you get the pick of the litter." "Thanks," said the dad. The 2 little girls, about 9 and 7, headed right for the tandem bike. "Dad, what's this kind of bike for?" asked the smaller of the 2 girls. "It's called a tandem, honey." "A 10-pin?" "No, a tandem. Tandem, he spelled out. "It's a bike for 2 people to ride at the same time." "Can we get one today, Dad, please?" asked the older of the 2 girls. "Okay, but you and I will have to go together. They're too dangerous with just you girls on it alone. I'll get it if you each agree to take a turn with me." "Dad," she said, as only a 7-year-old can drag out that word. "I mean it." "Okay," she said in a painfully resolute tone. Ray was hardly listening to the family banter as they went through the typically slow steps in selecting bikes that they'd rent for only an hour or 2. After they decided on the right bikes, Ray swiped their credit card and off they went. Just seconds after they were out of sight, Ray saw a blue figure come walking down the boardwalk. He recognized a police officer's uniform. It was Jack Roberts, a patrol officer for the Rehoboth Police. As one of the regular beach patrol officers, Jack had gotten to know Ray over the past few years. A strong, thoughtful kid of about 27, Jack was a bit country, naive, but a good officer, thought Ray as Jack pushed the door open. "Mr. Pulaski?" Jack said gravely. "Yeah, Jack, what's up this early in the morning?" Ray asked as he smiled at the young officer. But Jack didn't smile back. "Mr. Pulaski, you've got to come with me. There's been an accident." All Ray could think of was the family that he had just lost sight of on the boardwalk with the tandem. "Who's been hurt?" asked Ray quickly. "Your daughter," answered the officer as he cast his eyes to the floor. "Pam?" Ray asked incredulously. "Yes, sir. You've got to close the shop and come down with me ASAP. Please, sir." "Sure. What happened? What's wrong?" Her body is at the hospital," Jack said nervously, before realizing that he had made a terrible mistake as soon as it slipped out. "What did you say, son? Tell me what you said. Her body? Her goddamned body? Is she dead?" Ray was nearly yelling as the young police officer stood frozen in place. "I'm not at liberty to discuss—" "What the fuck's going on, Jack? You tell me right now, or I'll—" "Sir, I'm so sorry. She's dead. But I don't know any more than that. Please come with me now. I have a patrol car on the street." Instantly, Ray was back in Afghanistan. He moved in slow motion. All he wanted to do was kill someone, whoever was responsible for his daughter's death.